You are 8 years old and your village is on fire. In less than 5 minutes, you will lose your father. In less than an hour, you will lose your freedom. And before this day is over, you will be worth less than a bag of silver. Ireland, 833 AD, Clonmacnoise on the River Shannon. You have lived here your entire life. You will never live here again. The men coming off the boats are not angry. That is the first thing you notice. They move through the village the way your father moves through a market. Purposeful, calm, efficient. They are not here to punish you. They are not here for revenge. They are here for profit. And you are part of the profit. Your mother is ahead with your brother, Fergal. You can hear him crying even over the screaming in the fire. You are almost at the trees. Almost. Then your father's hand is gone, not slowly. Between one step and the next, his fingers disappear from your wrist. You turn automatically, and the turn every child makes when they lose contact with a parent. And there are 2 men between you and him. 3 seconds. Your father is looking at you. You will spend the next 15 years trying to understand the expression on his face. Then someone lifts you from behind. You kick, you scream, you bite. It changes nothing. The Viking carrying you to the boat does not even seem angry. He simply waits for you to stop. By sunset, your village will be gone. Your family will be gone. And the life you thought was yours will belong to someone else. The ship smells of salt, pine resin, and men who have not washed in weeks. 12 prisoners in the hull, 3 adults, 8 children. 1 monk who prays without stopping and is eventually told to be quiet by a Viking, who has been awake for 2 days and has no patience for God in any language. The sea is nothing like the River Shannon. The Shannon you understood. It had banks. It had direction. It went somewhere you could follow. This ocean has no edges. You sail north for 2 weeks and the horizon moves but never arrives. You are sick every day. Most of the prisoners are. The Vikings ignore this the way they ignore bad weather. It is happening. It is inconvenient. It will end. One evening, a Viking with a red beard gives you water without being asked. He says something you don't understand. He does not smile. He just gives you the water and goes back to his oar. This confuses you more than anything else that has happened. You had expected monsters. Norway is beautiful. That is wrong. You had expected ugly. Instead, there are mountains and black forests and water that looks like hammered iron and a sky bigger than any sky you have seen in Ireland. A man named Orm buys you at the trading town of Kaupang. Silver changes hands. That is what you are worth. A specific amount of silver, weighed on a scale, handed to the man who brought you across the sea. Orm's farm is 3 hours from the coast. He has 16 people on it. 6 are thralls, slaves. That is the Norse word, thrall. You learn it first because you need to understand what you are before you can understand anything else. The work begins the next morning. Water carried, wood cut, animals fed, fields worked. It is not designed to break you. It is designed to be done. The farm requires these things, and you are now part of the farm. That is all. Your hands, which were a child's hands, become something else over the next 3 years. The first winter, you nearly died, not from cold, not from hunger, from being 9 years old and completely alone in a way that has no accurate word in any language. Not alone as in no people around you. There are always people on the farm. Alone as in nobody knows who you were before. Back home you were Kieran, son of Diarmait the fisherman, brother of Fergal, boy from the banks of the Shannon. Here you are the Irish boy. The distinction is the difference between a person and a category. The second year you start dreaming in Norse. You wake up from these dreams angry at yourself. Your sleeping mind is choosing them, choosing their words, their images, their sounds. It feels like a betrayal of something you cannot name. There is an older thrall on the farm named Sunniva, Danish, taken in a raid 20 years ago. She has a daughter named Astrid who was born on this farm and has never known anything else. One evening, Sunniva sits beside you behind the woodshed. She says nothing for a while, then she says, "You will forget your language before you forget your name. You will forget your name before you forget his face. And when you forget his face, it will not mean you have become one of them. It will mean you survived long enough to forget." She goes back inside. You think about that for years. His name is Ulf. He is Orm's youngest son, 12 years old when he first speaks to you. Not because he is kind, but because he is bored, and you are approximately his age and therefore more interesting than his brothers. He teaches you to fish the Norwegian way. He corrects your pronunciation without laughing. He tells you once seriously that your accent is interesting. You understand this is kindness dressed as observation. You tell him about the Shannon, about your father, about Ireland. He listens the way children listen to stories about countries they will never visit. Over 2 years, Ulf becomes the only person on the farm who calls you Kieran, not Thrall, not Irish boy. You have no idea how much that cost you until it is gone. You are 13 when you plan the escape together. The plan is simple because you are children. Take a boat from Kaupang, sail south along the coast, find a ship going west, get home. 3 months of saving dried fish, learning the path through the forest, watching the guard patterns, choosing the night of the autumn storm when the wind would cover the sound of footsteps. The night comes. You go to the arranged place. Ulf is not there. You wait in the rain for an hour. Then Orm's men find you. The beating is not the worst part. It is long and it is serious, and afterwards, you cannot stand properly for several days. But bodies heal from beatings. What does not heal is the understanding that arrives the next morning, Ulf told his father. Not from cruelty. You believe this then. You believe it now. From fear. From the moment when the plan became real, and he understood what would happen to him if his father found out he had helped and had not warned him. He was 13 years old, and he chose what 13-year-olds choose when the alternative is their father's anger. You understand this. The understanding changes nothing. You do not speak to Ulf for 3 years after that. He does not try to speak to you. He moves around the farm with the careful avoidance of someone who knows exactly what they did and has found no available words for it. The last time you see him, he is 19. He has grown into someone who looks almost exactly like his father. He passes you in the yard and stops. He says nothing. You say nothing. You look at each other long enough that something is understood between you. Not forgiveness, not its absence, just the acknowledgement that it happened, and you are both still here. Then he walks away. 11 years pass. Not dramatically, just day after day of cold and work and food that is never quite enough, and a sky that is never the right color. Orm dies of fever in your 19th winter. His son Harold inherits the farm. Harold is competent and humorless, and treats the thralls with a flat consistency that is neither cruel nor kind. He is the hardest kind of master to hate, the one who gives you nothing to push against. You are 21 when the farm has a bad season, and Harold calls you in from the field. He says, "You have been here 13 years. You work well. I will give you your freedom in exchange for 3 more years of paid service." You ask him why. He looks at you as if the question is strange. He says, "Because I need a reliable worker more than I need the silver a sale would bring." That is all. No ceremony, no drama, just an accounting decision that happens to be your life. You are 23 when you sail south. The Irish coast appears after 11 days at sea. You stand at the bow and wait to feel something. You feel nothing in particular. This worries you. You had imagined this moment for 15 years. You had expected the feeling to be enormous. Instead, there is just coastline and fog and the smell of a sea that is almost but not quite the same as the one you remember. Clonmacnoise is 4 days' walk inland. The monastery is still there. The stone tower is new. The old one burned in a raid 3 years after you left. The village around it has been rebuilt twice. Different buildings, different people. The raid of 833 was not the only one. Others came after. Your house is gone. Not burned, just gone. Someone built something else there. You walk to the river. The Shannon is exactly the same. Wide and slow, and the color of slate, moving south the way it has moved south since before any human being stood on its banks. It does not know you. It does not care that you left or that you came back. It just moves. You sit on the bank for a long time. You try to find your father's face, his hands you remember, his voice, the weight of his arm across your shoulders, the way he laughed. But the face is gone. Sunniva was right. An old man is fishing further down the bank. You walk over. You ask if he knew anyone in Clonmacnoise before 833. He looks at you for a moment. He says, "I was here before 833. His name is Connell. He was 16 the summer the Vikings came. He remembers the burning. He remembers the families who disappeared. You tell him your father's name, diremate, fishermen, carpenters. Connell is quiet. Then he says, 'Diremate had a son who was taken,' you say. I know. Connell looks at you for a long time. Then he tells you what he knows. Your father did not die that day. He searched for you for 2 years. Went to every Viking trading post he could reach. Asked every traveler who passed through. Spent everything he had. He died in the winter of 837, not from violence, from a fever. 4 years after the raid. Still looking. Your mother remarried, moved north. Your brother Fergal is alive. 20 years old, somewhere in Ulster. You sit on the bank of the Shannon for a very long time. The river moves. The light changes. Your father spent 4 years looking for you. He never stopped. He just ran out of time. You thought coming home would fix something? You thought 15 years of surviving. The ship, the farm, the cold, the betrayal. The 11 years of ordinary crushing daily servitude. You thought all of that would be balanced out by this moment. By the Shannon. By Ireland, by coming back. It is not balanced out. Nothing balances it out, but you are standing on the bank of your father's river in the country where you were born, speaking your first language for the first time in years, and your brother is alive and he is somewhere north of here. You turn north, not because you have healed, not because the story is finished, because your father looked for you until he couldn't. The least you can do is keep moving.